If this is your first encounter with this abridged reading of Mantak Chia's Taoist Secrets of Love, please follow the link in the description to part 1, as there is a preface which explains what this book is about and what my intention with sharing it in this format is. The reading continues. Part 1. The Fundamental Premise. Sex energy can be transformed into spirit. Chapter 1. Male sex energy is stored in its seed. Sexual Kung Fu method provides an altogether unique and superior type of orgasm, repeated over lengthy periods of lovemaking. Its secret is simply there is no loss of seminal fluid during orgasm. By practicing control of certain muscles, tendons and fascia of the lower trunk, and by allowing the genital pressure to spread over the entire body, the seminal fluid is withheld. At the same time, one thrills to pleasures of infinite variety. Indeed, the joys of this kind of love must be considered quite different from ordinary physical pleasure. The intensity is so great that it often leads to a spiritual awakening. A man who masters this method will find his sexuality so enhanced that he will feel a revolution has occurred in his life. The pair of lovers becomes a dynamo, generating great quantities of electromagnetic energy. With this method, one can make love more often than before, with tremendous benefits to one's health. Sexual Kung Fu stimulates production of precious hormonal secretions instead of depleting them, as is ordinarily the case with ejaculation. To awaken this dynamic energy is also to experience the force behind man's biological and spiritual evolution, also known as the rising Kundalini. Those who fully understand conventional ejaculatory sex know it grossly exploits every gland and organ. With ejaculation, the intense pressure of life is expelled from the body, leaving behind in some sex-obsessed men only enough life force to fold the newspaper, squeeze food through the bowels, and make for the psychiatrist's couch. Extraordinary powers, including healing and clairvoyant perception, may evolve when one retains the semen and drives its power back up into the body. Many gifted minds have held that if one could retain these fluids for one's entire life, the body would not decay after death. The saints, Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, or Taoist, all use the power dwelling in the vital seed to perform miracles. Most men have found the sexual lure irresistibly attractive and have happily lost their seed when succumbing to it, unaware of the consequences to their health, or that there was even an alternative available to them. With frequent ejaculation of sperm, vitality ultimately plummets. The big spender loses stamina. His vision begins to weaken. Hair tumbles from his skull. He grows old before his time. At first he will not feel drained, but after years of abuse his capacities will begin to drop alarmingly. When the hormonal secretions of the sexual glands are regularly leached out, the body is sapped at its root. Within a period of time that will range from months to decades, depending on the endowment of the individual, creative and sexual abilities are halved, and the ability to withstand disease and the frailties of old age is diminished. If he is on a spiritual path, or is surrounded by a loving community of family and friends, this feeling of a failing life power will be slowed, but so long as the prodigious energy waste continues, decline is inevitable. The organs of digestion will be unable to assimilate sufficient nutritional energies to replace those irrecoverable life energies lost by ejaculation. When they are conserved and transformed, one enjoys a marvelous sexual life. The Taoist method of cultivating sexual energy recirculates to the body the hormones, proteins, vitamins, enzymes, minerals, and electrical energies of the semen. When they are conserved and transformed, one enjoys a marvelous sex life, improved health, deep inner balance, and rising spiritual consciousness. Why has the spiritual power of sex been kept a secret? Our race has finally grown aware of the need to conserve natural resources, lest we consume ourselves to total ruin. Fresh water, soil, forests, and fuels must be spared. Food produced more efficiently, building and transportation accomplished with less waste. We have already exhausted a major portion of the readily recoverable riches of the planet. The cost of basic commodities skyrockets because, with the few resources left, we continue to overproduce inefficient machines such as cars and unproductive military armaments. One reason for this neglect is simply general ignorance of the ancient and highly secret methods used in the past. Taoist masters gained knowledge of these methods through unknown millennia of relentless searching for the secret principles animating matter. These methods are the fruit of many generations of inspired meditation by sages, coupled with my close observations on modern life. This book fashions into a unified whole my personal experience of the teachings. There are so many wizards of the computer, stock market, test tube, and spectator sport, but so few of the art of life. Our race spends its brief span fiddling with statistics, black boxes, noxious chemicals, and above all with meaningless words. A majority of Americans daily pass more than 6 hours in a mesmerized trance induced by a coloured shadow dancing in a box of glass. These machines have inadvertently become instruments of our own destruction. A TV-programmed mind is not a free mind. Too few devote even 1 second to entering deeply the great current of life hidden within ourselves, yet all the technological energy eagerly sought is an apish imitation of the electrifying ecstasies found hidden within the body and mind. There are positive signs. In Taoist thinking, any excess eventually leads to its opposite. Despite the current mediocrity of most popular culture, there are tremendous forces driving the race into expanded consciousness. It is clear that the reason for the chaotic state of planetary affairs is the revolutionary advance in human consciousness. In simplest terms, hydrogen bombs hover over us only because we are clever enough to conjure them up. Hatred contains the seeds of love. We have created a crisis in order to force a solution demanding that we restore our balance with one another and with nature. Not only do troubles press consciousness to evolve, but changing consciousness bursts the constraints of existing order.